there. Dadgummit. All right, I got to fix that real quick. All right, so we're recording. So if you don't watch Private Life on the recording, then I would not say anything. So I'm going to fix number 2. It apparently erased. So. I'll zoom in a minute just for number 2 if you're having trouble with it. Hopefully you can see it. So right here's what you probably are going to want to do so that when I zoom in, you can write down number 3 and all of that. And then I'm going to zoom in so you can see number 2 better. So write down number 3, basically those points. Then you can answer it later. And then I'll zoom in so you can see number 2 better.
Can you give me a whiteboard?
No.
Why?
You need a whiteboard.
I can do my work on a whiteboard.
And
And then I can take pictures of it.
You're back there. Where all the whiteboards are.
Oh, I see that. Okay, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of whiteboards. Hundreds of them. I'm not done doing calls, so don't think you're out of the woods yet if your parents haven't talked to you yet.
Oh, they're giving me an extra week to get my grades up. I'm so happy.
Yeah, you said because of this class. It was not just because of this class. I might have been the one that notified them, but
No, I notified myself.
I looked at grade. This wasn't the only class.
I know.
You said right there.
Yeah,
You're in
this
trouble
class
with
just went
this
down.
class.
Yeah, this class went down.
They're probably, they must know though something happened. They're not doing well in that. They know you don't know. Well, you say you don't know.
I don't.
You used to like math before.
No.
Or that, I guess you're just preparing it for the 5 years.
I mean, like, I like basic math, not like this.
I like math when I can do math.
I like math when there's an actual
Well, if
formula that
you
you
learn
have to
it,
follow.
then you'd be able to do it. Well, that's kind of silly to say that.
Rapid.
You don't know anything if you don't learn it.
I have to sneeze.
Uh-oh. I'm going to give you 5 minutes because this is pretty much your exit ticket. You can do this. There's one more piece we're going to add,
Today
but
or Friday?
Friday. But I mean, this is kind of how it's set up. There's more problems on it. But if you can do this, then you should be good. So number 1 is what we're going to do. That's the new lesson that will be on there. So we haven't done that. I mean, we talked about what evaluate is, but we're going to add some stuff to number 1, and then that's pretty much it.
Oh, wow, so I get that I wasn't there for. What was it about?
Which one were you not there for last week?
Yeah, that's right.
No, the very last one. Graphing inequalities, I think, maybe?
Well, that's right.
I think it was
I
graphing
think so.
inequalities.
Why no?
I don't know if you know. I
You have like an extra
I
word.
can't answer that, Daniel. I
What
know
does
how to
it
do
look
that.
like?
I don't know. You can watch the video and see if you know how to do it. I don't know, whatever day you missed. No, you don't, not watching that. You got a lesson that you got to do today. Were you here? Raise your hand if you were not here on Tuesday, so yesterday for you guys. Elmira was not here, Beth was not here. All right, so you're going to get a quick review of what we did, pretty quick. So better than nothing, but you still would probably want to go back and watch the video, but this will be better than nothing. You should have written down number 3, so I'm going to zoom in.
Yeah, because try zoom in for number 2.
Oh wait, hold on, I'll worry about that in a minute. Let me zoom in. That's the answer you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Or maybe not. There we go. Boy, that's not super zoomed in, but so the red, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red points you're looking at. I'm gonna put more on there though. Actually, I'm gonna make them bigger too.
I don't.
But that's still not. Yeah, I know, they're still not. Let me do them again. So I actually added another one also, so now there's 6 red dots. So if you finish, you need to look again. I added the one, actually I don't know which one I added. It was one of these two. I added one of those, so you may have only had one of them before. So I'll give you 4 more minutes. That was about a minute. Go. Like I said, you can do this, and then we add the one little piece, which should be super easy. Like we did it in 10 minutes in the last class, and I think everybody was fine with it. You should be good for Friday. Probably 26, right? Or maybe 4. Somewhere in between. Oh, actually, I may have put them in for this class. Some classes I put in, some I didn't.
I love.
Yeah, 20. I think the 20 would have been a pretty popular grade. Remember, though, I said that I was very generous on that, so we still need to go back over it before we have it. It'll be on probably the big exit ticket you take at some point. Maybe the midterm. I guess probably the midterm will be the big exit. So we will go back over that graphing because we are still not getting graphing. And oh shoot, can't see the bottom. Oh no, you wrote down the bottom. Okay. The first problem was just what does evaluate mean when it comes to math. So the only one I'm really showing is the second problem. Yeah, that's not like totally different. Totally different. I talk about you guys all the time.
You do.
You actually.
You stop
Yeah.
that.
It's not just you two, you too.
We don't talk about me. You're back about me.
I don't know. Do you have any like difficult challenges going on in your life right now?
I do.
You do? Then I am talking about you.
I don't like talking
I just talk about the fact that I got so many kids right now with challenges in their life.
Yes,
And you were the 2 that I think of. 2 of them, there's a couple more. 1 in my 7th period, actually 2 in my 7th period for lunch every day. 1 apparently in 6th period, a boy that's not the same reason, but he's got stuff going on. Couple in 6th period, again, different, not relationship stuff, different stuff. 5th period.
How about 7?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm assuming I know who you're talking about.
I mean, it's
But that's who knows? Who knows? You done? Raise your hand if you are still working on it. Like genuinely working, not just I don't know how to do it. I'm sitting here. I'll start in a minute and 1 person's still working. I do want you to have time to try this because if you can do it, you're in good shape. Although, how are you working on it? You don't even hear. Do you know what domain and range are? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start it. So first problem, what does oh, is that your gum? What does evaluate mean as it relates to math, now that we've already gone over it once?
Solve a problem?
It means to solve, like that's literally all. If I say evaluate, that means you gotta figure out how would I solve this? And normally it's not going to be like solving an equation where there's a variable in the middle and you're trying to figure out what the variable is. It's normally going to be, all right, I'm going to just plug in a number and do the math and get the answer. That's typically how evaluate works. That's the new lesson for today. We'll do that at the end. I'll pass them out, I guess, in a little while, but you're going to need one of these if you didn't already grab it. Don't get up now. Some of you grabbed it, some of you didn't. So now let's move on. So the main part of the exit ticket is domain, range, and is something a function. So when we do domain and range, let's review. Where does the domain come from? Where are we pulling that from? What values? X values, correct. So domain comes from the X values in what we call a relation, which is a set of ordered pairs. So for example, down here, this is a set of ordered pairs. That's a relation. We could pull the X values out and use those to create the domain. We could then pull the Y values out. So if domain is the X values, range is the Y values. So we could pull the Y values out and create the range. Now when we do that though, there's two rules we got to follow for domain and range. What are the two rules? Don't repeat is one of them, so don't ever write a number twice. What's the second one? You should have it in your notes. Remember it. Make sure you can find it quickly on the exit ticket day.
Wait,
Me?
then order
Katarina,
largest to smallest.
And then not largest to smallest.
Smallest.
Smallest to largest. Least to greatest. Ordered pairs from a table. I didn't go over mapping diagram in last class. I didn't add that in. Or from a mapping diagram, which they actually saw the mapping diagram. I don't think we spent much time on it in here. Oh boy. Mapping diagram. So if I were going to pull out we already talked about briefly how to pull it where you don't have to do it, but we talked about how to do it from a set of X and Y's. Just all the X's, pull them all out, put them in order smallest to least. If any of them are repeated, take one of the repeated ones out so that you only have them written once. So that's how we do it from this. How though would we do it when we don't have X and Y values, like from a graph? I don't see any X and Y values written down. I don't have an ordered pair. How would we do a domain and a range from the graph? It's two ways. What's what's that? But what do we do? What's the way we said, like, how do I say this without giving you an answer? Well, what are the two ways? We'll see what you say. Willie, give me one. One way we could do domain and range from a graph. Not sure? If you don't know, just tell me I'm just doing a quick check. Katarina, do you know how to do it? Just if you don't know, don't say you don't know. I'm just trying to see where we're at. Colton, do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it, Ileana? All right. Betsy, you wouldn't know. Kira, do you know how to do it? Yes or no? All right. Jocelyn, do you know how to do it? Or graph. All right. Ewan wasn't here. Kayla. Lupita. Elmira wasn't here. Angelica, do you know how to do it?
Don't you start with the X
So that's one way. So I'm going to go over that way also, and we'll see if anybody says the second way. Come here. What's the way to do it? Do you know how to do it? Let's just say that. Yeah. You good? Yeah. Think you know? All right. You know how to do it? Yeah. I don't think I was holding anybody. So. Daniel, wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey. Do you know how to do it? You do? Okay. You say that. Lauren, do you know how to do it? All right. And Valentina, do you know how to do it? Think so? Kind of, sort of? All right. So we got a few people saying they do, quite a few that say they don't. So let's go over it again. It's going to be quick, but you've already seen it once. So hopefully this is a reminder. If you don't know how to do what I'm doing, today is your day to take notes. Like, I'm not going to talk about this at all on quiz day because we got to do the new lesson, which I'll probably review again the day of the quiz day. And then I'll probably review maybe is it a function or not, but I'm not going to review domain and range. So this is it for domain and range. So if you're still not getting it, take notes now and ask questions if you're not getting it after I go over it. So again, from down here, I just pull out, ooh, I just pull out the X and Y values. So I can label, if you really want to, you could label them X and Y. You don't have to do that step. But once you do that step, you would pull out all the X values. So I would say, all right, well, my X values are 0, 4, -2, 3, 1, 10. Pull all those out. Then just put them in order, smallest to largest, and don't repeat any of them. And then you do the same thing for the Y values to do the range. But again, we do not have like a set of ordered pairs in this relation, this graph. So I can't do that yet. But assuming you're good at this part and you feel comfortable with it, you could create the ordered pairs. Like if you understand what I just did as far as pulling the X and Y's from ordered pairs and making them smallest to largest into the domain, then just order the points that are on the graph. What is this ordered pair right here? What's the X and the Y for that Lupita? For the blue one that I just put up there. Did you hear what she said, Willie? Good. What's the X and Y value for that blue point? So again, this is something that you got to know how to do, how to read a point off a graph or how to put a point on a graph. And -4 is the X value. So again, if you don't know how to do this, remember this is it was right. If anybody heard Lupita, she was right. But I'm just kind of checking to see where people are at. Did you help them out on that, Cole? That's all. So if you have a graph and either you're putting a point on the graph or there are already points on the graph and you're trying to figure out what the X and the Y are, that was the Miss Graph story where I took the elevator to go see her. First, I had to go left and right, though, to get to the elevator. Then, yeah, it's totally made. I mean, yeah, there's nothing true. Although that did look like a cool apartment. I would like to live there. So, if I start at 0, 0, which is where we always start to try to figure out what that point is, I go either left or right first. Well, the point's over here, so I got to go left. I go until I get directly underneath or above a point because the elevator can only go straight up and straight down. Can't go sideways. So I got to be directly underneath the point, or if I was going to that one, directly above it. Well, once I get to that spot, I'm at -4. So that's the X value. The first number is the left and right number, the X value. Now I say, okay, well from here, if I need to go up to visit, I need to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's +4 on the y-axis. So that's how you either pull the coordinates for the point from the graph, or if I give you the coordinates, that's how you would then put the point on the graph. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to do the other ones real quick. So if you needed to do domain and range and you wanted to do it from ordered pairs like that, just label all the points. So that would be -4, -3. This one would be -1, 1. Where am I going to write that? I guess -1 there. This one would be +4, +1. This is going to get a little trickier because they're all close together.
The other one is
-1. Oh, I should have had you guys do that one. So this one's a little tricky sometimes for people when they're on an axis. I still go left and right first because I got to get to an elevator. So I go to the right to get to that point. Well, now I'm on the point. I don't need to go up or down. which confuses kids sometimes, that's a 0. If you don't go up or down, then you need to put a 0 there. Something has to go in that second spot. So this one up here would be 4, 3. And then where am I going to write that one? I guess I'll write it. I'll draw an arrow to it. So that one right there would be 4, 1. So that point there is 4, 1. So once you've done that, now you could just do the same thing. Take all the x values out. So -4, -4, -1, 4, 6, 4. Take them all out from the points. Put them in order, smallest to largest. And then, nobody else had asked, right? Put them in order, smallest to largest, and just don't repeat any of them. And there's your domain. And then do the same thing for the y values. So that's one way to do it. But again, you have to be able to label the points correctly, because if you label it incorrectly, that's wrong. This is kind of like I said on graphing, there's not a lot of partial credit I can give you. You have to get this stuff right. We got 957. All right. So the next way to do it, and I'm going to have to do this pretty quickly so we can get to the last lesson. Any question? I'm about to get rid of that stuff. Anybody have any questions on that? All right. I got to go backwards to get rid of it, otherwise it will erase everything. Nope. There we go. All right, so here's the other way to do it. I don't care which way you do it. If I'm getting the domain, so the domain comes from the x values, right? We said that earlier. I don't have to write all those coordinates down, all those ordered pairs. I know that I just need to pull the x value for every point that's on here. Well, actually, not even every point, just for the ones that aren't due. Like here, I have 2 points on that x value. Here I have 2 points, so I don't even need to do it 6 times. I just need to do it 4 times. You'll see what I mean in a second. So if I start right here, again, this is for domain. Domain start, which I'm going to erase in a second. Why would I start there? Why am I picking that spot?
Because it says the X.
It's on the x-axis, which is where the values come from for domain, but why that spot on it? Why didn't I start at the middle at 0, 0? I'll get you one second. Why am I starting right there?
Where the
What's the rule behind domain and range? The 2 rules, really. One of them is don't repeat any, but what's the other rule?
start from the smallest to largest.
Yeah, this is the smallest x value right here. The smallest x value is always at the farthest left on the graph. So if I start there and I go from left to right, they're automatically going to be in smallest to largest order. I don't have to worry about putting it away. So that's why I'm starting there. So now if I go from left to right, and I'm going to write my domain, I just need to figure out, well, what are the x values going left to right that match up with all of these points that are not even all of them, just the ones where they're not duplicated, basically. So the first x value, there's nothing on -7, right? Here's -7. There's no point up above, or basically there's no elevator I could take to get to a point right there. There's no elevator I could take on -6, no elevator on -5. The first time I could take an elevator to get to one of the points is right there. And I actually have 2 points that I could go. I could go to the point above or the point below. That means that is my first x value, -4. Now I just keep going to the right. My next x value, well, nothing on -3, nothing on -2, up, here we go. There's a point directly above -1. Well, that means my next domain value, my next x, -1. And then I just keep going to the right. Katerina, what's my next value in the domain? Oh, you just got beat out. You're second in line, Elmira. On your way out. Vicky, what's the next one?
What do you mean? What?
Actually, next one and last one. So -4, So -4, -1, then 4, then what's the last one? Oh, well, we did 4 already. I wrote 4. So we already did that one. I just hadn't circled it yet. So the last one then is we just keep going to the right.
Yeah, no.
No, I told you to go before me.
Oh, you did? Oh, I thought you were getting up to go. So the last one then would be on the 6. So our last number here then is the 6. I didn't need to write all the ordered pairs out, which doesn't take a long time, but the biggest thing about it is you might make a mistake doing it that way. It's kind of hard to make a mistake if you just do this. So I just circled each number. Oh, I didn't do that in the other class. I wish I would have done that. I like that because now you just see, you clearly see the numbers. Boy, add that in. If you're confused about this, just circle every number. As you go left to right, just circle the X value that is either below or above a point. That's your domain right there. Like -4, -1, 4, and 6. Wish I would have found that in the beginning lesson, right? So you'll just, so for the domain, you'll just start here and you'll circle every value that's either above or below a point. I'm going to leave that up and we're going to do range the same way. So for range, where would I need to start for range?
On the y-axis.
And where on the y-axis? If it's got to be smallest to largest, where would I start?
The smallest.
All the way at the bottom of the negatives, right? So I would start here for range. Darker. So now I just go up the y-axis, and now I'm looking for points that are left or right. So my first point as I go up, well, here's a point, so the first value I would need to circle is -3. So when I'm doing range, I'm about to ask, you were... Oh yeah, I didn't change it. So -3. What's that? Yeah, but see, I don't have to worry about that anymore.
That's true.
Oh, see, so I don't even have to worry about the date anymore. That's why I'm slacking on it. Actually, I just forgot. Keeps me from answering that same question a million times. So what is the next y value in the domain? I'm sorry, in the range? No. You got it down. And hey, if you're raising your hand and volunteering, I know you've got something down. You're not typically one to volunteer. Let's see, Valentina, you don't volunteer. Let's call on you. What's the next value in the range? Ooh, that was good point. Actually, Kayla, you may want to listen to this answer. So you said 1 first, but then you changed it. What'd you change it to? 0. Don't forget, this point here counts, even though it's on the axis. As we go up, that point is directly right of this spot right here. Well, there's no number there, but you got to remember that is a 0. We got to include that in our range. So that's the next number. Let's go with Jocelyn. I'm not going to hear you probably, but what is the next value for our range? So we did -3, and then we did 0 for that point way out there. What's the next value? You can show me a number on your fingers if you would prefer to do it. You can't see it? Oh yeah, you do take pictures. And Kira can't see either, although she's asleep anyway. I'm going to go with Colton. What's the next value? There's actually not one at all at 2. If I keep going up, here's 2. There's nothing left or right of 2. Can you just not see it? Like what the number would be? 1 would be the next value. If you understand the concept and you just can't see the graph, that's fine. You'll be able to see it very clearly on the quiz. So here's 1. So the next value would be 1, and then the last value would be 4. So that would be my range. Oh, and 3, yeah. I thought I actually meant to put that one on the same level as the 4. Oh, that's skinny. And we didn't write 1 twice, even though there were 2 points there. We didn't write 4 in the domain twice.
I know it's like.
Yeah, we still got, I was gonna say, why is everybody kind of all right, so that's how you do domain and range. What about, is it a function or not for these two? We'll do the graph first. How do you tell if a graph is a function? Is anybody still writing any of that?
No.
I'm about to get rid of it. Going once? No, there's no hold up. If you're finishing up, you can't just now start writing. This is being recorded. You can go back and watch it. You were sitting there doing nothing. I'm not waiting for you to write everything down. Ah! Can't do that then.
I'm doing nothing.
Because you just now picked up a pencil. I just saw you. All right, somebody crying back there.
Don't call me that.
Call who what?
She can't say that word. She can't say that word. You better not say it. You better not say it.
Yeah, if I say it, if I say it, then
You
I'm
better
a
not
bad
say it.
person.
I'm saying.
And I'm getting somehow.
Say that word.
Yeah, it is weird, but I don't like that word if it's a word I'm thinking. All right, so is that a function? Yes or no? How do we tell that from a graph?
Oh my God, wait, Mr. God, say something. Oh, wait, never
How do we tell if that's a function from a graph?
Oh my God, wait, if you're recording that, you can hear what he said in the recording. Oh!
Oh my God.
Who said it?
Willie.
Willie?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to say it. You get-
Well, normally you can't hear unless they're like right up front. I mean, you can hear the voice a little, but you can't understand. I'll go back and listen.
Pretty clear.
But-
Pretty clear.
Yeah, I heard all
Yeah, but I mean, trust me, I've had conversations right here with students, like what I thought was pretty loud, and you can't understand.
My hands.
You can understand me a little because my voice is louder, but like I've literally been right next to it. It can pick up noise, but to be clear, it's got to be pretty close to the microphone. So, how do we tell this a function from a graph? What's the test? What do we call it? Do you remember?
When there's a repeating number, it's not a fun.
Well, now it's not just that there's a repeating number.
It's like,
If you repeat the x and have a different y, that's when it's not a function. But from a graph, there's a vertical line test we said. So we said the vertical line test. No, you can't go. What are you talking about? Oh, that. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like leave class. Who went out? Oh yeah, you can go. Who knows if she's even going. Actually, she's supposed to be on the list where I call and have her escorted to the bathroom. So if I go left and right with some kind of a straight line, oh here, hold on. If I go left and right with some kind of a straight vertical line, do you know this? Do you know this vertical line thing? Yeah. I'm just saying I'm not going to worry about getting out of your way if you know what I'm talking about.
I got no idea.
So, if I go back and forth, if I hit 2 points at once, like there, or here, it actually happens twice. If I hit 2 points at once, that is not a function. Ooh, look at you, man, I didn't see you again. If I hit 2 points at once, go USF thing. That's not a function. If that doesn't happen, if you never hit 2 points at once, then it is a function. That's the only test. Like that's all you got to do, and it'll be obvious. Like it's obvious that I'm hitting these 2 points right here. Like I'm going right through the middle of them, although one's kind of off a little bit. Or those, I'm hitting those two. On a graph, if it's a line, like think of a circle. I think on your packet it's got a circle. I mean, you're clearly going to hit 2 points at one time when you go left or right. And even all the other curved pictures, you were very clearly hitting 2 points at once on those curved pictures. If you really are trying to figure it out, if it's not obvious that you're not hitting 2 points at once, then you're not. Like it'll be obvious if you're doing it. So that's how we do it on a vertical line test. I'm not going to review how to do it from points. You need to go watch the video if you weren't getting that. We did that in quite a bit of detail last class. So let's do the new material. So we kind of already reviewed that. what is the answer here? So read this blue, and I want you to answer that.
What is the answer? What is why?
Everybody, nobody say it out loud. I want you to figure out what you think it would be first. Joy, Daniel, this is the new lesson. You need to be awake for this, or at least you don't even really have to take notes. It's not hard, but you need to see it. Joy, are you awake? All right, pay attention. You don't have to take notes. It's not super difficult, but you need to. This is on the exit ticket. It should be really, really easy. So now that you've looked at it, what do you think the answer is? What do you do?
Wait, is it on top or the one on the bottom?
You're answering this question. What is the y? What's the answer when x equals 3? There's no y down there.
Okay, 3 times.
You what? So what's the final answer is all I want. It says, what is the answer? What's evaluate mean? So what's the answer? 7. You just plug in the number. If x is 3, we just say, okay, well, if x is 3 and I want to know what y is, the answer is just what y is. The answer and y are the same thing. 2 times 3 plus 1. Well, if I do the math on that, y is 7. So when x is 3, y is 7. That's pretty much the whole lesson.
I asked about the which one do we do? There's two.
Well, I said there's only y in one equation. There's no y in this. I'm not sure what you're saying.
Well, it's confused because it doesn't read through.
Well, the point of this is that it's the same exact thing in the bottom. So this down here, you're going to get a question that says evaluate. Evaluate f of 3. Something like that, or whatever the number is in the problem. All that's saying is, okay, you've got an equation and you've got an answer. So this is just really saying this is the answer, just like y was the answer. So that just means that's the answer. And this just means that. It means what is the answer when x is 3? It's the same exact thing. We just took x and changed it to a 3. Well, if we changed it to a 3 here, then we need to change it to a 3 everywhere we see x. Because x is now 3. We don't need x anymore. This is telling you x is 3. Just like here, I told you x is 3. It's just a different notation. It saves us from having to write out this whole statement in blue by just writing that real quick notation. So the answer would be the same thing. F of 3 would equal 7. Just plug the number in, do the math. So you don't have tons of time, but you should still be able to get some of these done. I want you to work on...
Can you do it at home?
Yeah, you should do it at home also.
Okay.
But I want you to try 1 or 2 of them because I'm not going to be at home to help you. So,
Yeah, I can.
so if you didn't get one, you got one. That phone needs to go up. I'm thinking have your head down. It's a totally different thing than your phone out.
What time is this?
Like I like 5 minutes probably. Anybody else not have one?
We have 1